And that's all. I think almost. Just the microphone there.
Let me just share it. Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Ante and I work as a product marketing manager in Infobip, and today I'm going to talk about improving customer experience through automatized communication alongside Magdalena. So we're not going to only talk about improving customer experience, though important topic as it is, but also about the trend of automatized communication and chatbots on the market, how we see it evolving in the next 5 years, and also I'll share some examples that we have encountered and things that worked for our customers. So first, yeah, most of you, if not didn't use chatbots in your working life, you have encountered them or seen them around, as 1.4 billion people already use them. And chatbots are simply computer systems that automatically respond to users' questions and queries and provide relevant information. Merriam-Webster defines it as a bot that is designed to converse with human beings. So, what do consumers think and how do they feel about chatbots? 70% of millennials have experienced positive interactions with the chatbot. And maybe 5 years ago it wouldn't be so relevant, but millennials are 30 now and they have their own paycheck and are a really important customer segment. 90% of businesses have reported faster complaint resolution with chatbots, and that's really no wonder because chatbots are built and what they do best is they automatically solve high volume, low value queries. So repetitive questions that are constantly asked on the a website to support or call center, chatbots can automatize it, and that's what they do it. And $8 billion in cost savings is expected to be saved through use of conversational chatbots in 2022, and that's estimated by Juniper Research, and as the year is almost out, we are all looking forward to see how it's going to work out. So, what led to the rise of chatbots? First, I would say omnichannel deployment. So you could have experienced, and most of you actually dealt with chatbots on the websites and live chat chatbots that were somewhat limited in functionality and so on. But when Facebook launched WhatsApp chatbot, WhatsApp for Business, and enabled chatbots on WhatsApp in 2018, it really took it off from there. And they're not the only one. So you have it on any channel you want, from Google's channels, Apple's, Viber, KakaoTalk, so whatever chat app or user. And if they're available everywhere, it definitely helped with adoption. Next one is following competitors. When we talked to our customers and asked them, how come you adopted the chatbot and why you wanted it? So a lot of them, of course, some were motivated by cost savings and so on, but there are also internal motivation, but that they wanted to be seen as technologically capable, and they didn't want to lag behind the competitors who already have it. So that's also something that helped fuel it. Next is user expectation. The more businesses adopted chatbots, the more users expected the businesses to have it and asked for it. And the more users asked, the more other businesses adopted it, and it's a circle. And next one, and I think important one, was emergence of AI and other features in the bots. So the bots kept evolving, and they added rich features. You can send, they can send images, videos, tutorial guides, and everything in that vein. And also emergence of AI, smart bots that can recognize user intents. That is also something that really helped, and it enabled new use cases. And if businesses could improve their business, they started adopting it. And last but not least, COVID pandemic. So it not only added fuel to the fire, but it was really an explosion, because when COVID came, a lot of physical stores closed and businesses had to reinvent their communication strategy with the business. And be it chatbots on the WhatsApp or social media, on any sort of digital channel, it really needed improvement, and it really helped there. So I don't want to dwell too much on theory, but because of AI washing, every solution nowadays is AI. So just to quickly explain the difference. So the simplest form of chatbots are those rule-based or menu-based chatbots. And you can see the example. So those are simple to use. It offers a choice to the customer, to the user. Choose A for this, B for this, C for this, and it guides the user to a series of menu. Next one is NLP bots. Those utilize AI, and they're able to recognize user intent. So they're fed with utterances, with data, for any intent that they should be able to recognize. And for example, in this case, if you want to change your shipping address, user, right, I want to change shipping address, the bot is able to recognize that intent and provide next steps, ask for an order number and so on, and completely complete the transaction without utilizing any human effort. And the more advanced version of this is named entity recognition bots. So they're not able only to recognize user's intent, but also the attributes in the message. So in this example, give me my savings account balance. User's intent is to find out the balance of his account. But the bot is also able to recognize a specific entity, savings account, because there are many accounts. It could be checking or so on. And in this case, the user doesn't have to repeat himself, and provides the maximum experience. And I'll show you an example. So what is actually conversational experience, and how can chatbot help you achieve it? So I see now it's too small, but if in a rule-based bot, if a user asks, "Hi, can I get a consultation with Dr. Joe on 24th of April?" Rule-based bot can't understand anything and will offer a menu. What do you want to do? Schedule an appointment or find out our location? A user chooses one. With what doctor? You say Dr. Joe. Then next question, when? And you write the answer. So this is the repetition, and those are the old bots that most of you, if you ever used it, encountered. But intent bot is if you write to it, "Hi, can I get a consultation from Dr. Joe on 24th? It will understand that your intent is to schedule an appointment, but it will need to ask you with which doctor and on which date. So it's a better experience, but it's not all the way there. And the latest one, NER chatbot, if you ask, "Hi, can I get a consultation 24th with Dr. Joe?" It will understand that your intent is to schedule an appointment, but it will also understand the entity date and entity name of doctor. So it really, and it only needs to confirm with the user what he wants to do. So it's a really smooth experience for the user, and it enables better communication. So I'm not going to go deep in the numbers, just to share observations. So the market is growing rapidly. And I think its graphs like this are a bit misleading, because it says that North America and Europe are the highest revenue and biggest markets, and they are, but I would say that they're technologically lacking, because Asia and Pacific region, we have seen that they are early adopters of the most modern technologies. So in US, for example, there is a problem that there is no dominant channel. So in Croatia, user-to-user communication, we basically use mostly WhatsApp. In Eurasia, they will use Viber. In South Korea, they will use KakaoTalk. And it's easier to deploy it on the channel people are using. But in North America, the user-to-user communication is SMS. So, I mean, they of course use from iMessages to Facebook Messenger, but it's the most dominant. So it's slowing down a bit. And also, we have seen that only 30% rate chatbots as favorable, because they still, I mean, the others are mostly neutral, and less than 30 is negative. And they still prefer human contact, while in other markets like Asia and Europe, we have seen that people, especially younger generation, don't like to call and will avoid it if possible, and like to solve problems with messaging. And what is important thing here, I think, is that Asia and Pacific, so APEC region, they're world leading in conversational commerce. So conducting business and selling products. And this is very interesting for both web bots on live chat or WhatsApp bot, and they are also utilizing voice chatbots. So you can call a restaurant and make a reservation by talking entirely to a bot. And I think it's interesting because all of those trends that prove successful in APAC are very quickly transferred to other regions such as MENA or Europe in 2 to 5 years. About the market sizes, so basically the biggest industries that utilize and use chatbots are IT and telecoms, banking, financial institutions, insurance, travel, hospitality, media, energy, utilities. So it's really industry agnostic, and all industries are expected to grow and to increase their adoption and market presence with the bots. And last graph, I promise. I think this is a really interesting one. And this is actually to demonstrate how COVID crisis has exploded the market, and it really accelerated digitalization by several years at least. And you can see that in December 2019, around 33% of interactions with consumers and businesses were digital. And only 6 months later, in July 2020, that number rose to close to 60%. So in 6 months, the number of digital interactions almost doubled. And I think the greatest example about this is Enel. So Enel is largest energy group in Brazil. They are electricity provider. And what happened, the COVID came and they had to close all their stores. And in Brazil, people had a custom, let's say, they were, when they had some issue, they would come to the store and solve it physically. So what they had to do, they had to very quickly enable 100% of the services that were able to do in the store to do it automatically. And they wanted to do it over call center, but it was impossible. It's such a volume that people couldn't handle it. So they needed to add digital channels, and they added the chatbot. And interesting about this is the use cases you can achieve now. So what they have done, if user had a problem and needed a new invoice, didn't get one or lost it or whatever, he could ask it from a bot and receive it on an email or be sent in the post. If you wanted to know how much do you owe electricity consumption, you would enter the state of your meter. It's connected to their systems, so you would simply get how much do you owe message in the chatbot. You could change the billing address, report a failure. So anything you could do in a store, you could do over a chatbot. Unfortunately, I don't have concrete numbers for results on this case, but what we got for them is that they significantly reduced wait time for call center, and they are servicing thousands of customers with the chatbot daily. So this is the interesting part. We have discovered the need for new services. So when we were building our solution, so chatbot building platform, our mantra was make it easy to build. So no code editor, drag and drop, so anybody can do it. Marketing person, you don't need a developer for it. But we have seen that, we did it, we accomplished it. It's easy to build, but what we have seen is that people don't know how to build it. And because this is a new type of communication. Both persona will depend on a brand, and some will be funny, some will be sarcastic, some will be professional and caring. Depends on the industry, but depends on the company. But what we have seen is that people simply don't know how to build it. And mid to large companies, they need unification of customer experience across all the touch points. So be it the website, advertising, customer support. So at any time when the customer is interacting with the company, the experience needs to be unified. You can have like a funny bot and a serious website. So it has to be together, and the tone of voice must match. Smaller companies don't have that problem because they are mostly personalizing it. And then we came at the question, so who should write the content in the company? Should it be a customer support? I mean, they are dealing with the clients every day, but this is a different type of communication than they are doing. So we thought about copywriters. They are the most creative of the bunch, but they are maybe not so understanding of the technical technical side of this. We thought about UX designers. They are maybe the best of the bunch, but what emerged in the market is actually a new role, which is in its beginning, and that's conversational designer or CX designer. And why is it taking so much? Why is it important? And that is, as Oren and Jacob said, if you don't create motivation and personality behind your app, in this case a chatbot, the user will create it on its own. So it's really important to have it designed well. And it's important because of the rise of conversational commerce. I'm going to talk about it a bit later, but this is a trend that's definitely coming and will be ever present. So it's important to have a very nicely built experience. And that is because it removes hurdles. Now through the chat app, if it's well designed, it removes the need for a customer to download application. It removes the need to visit a website for some simple question or to check out something. It removes the need to create account. And we believe that it will be an added service. So if you are a web agency or a marketing agency or UX designer, web designer, whatever, so this will definitely be a new industry as more and more companies have a need to do it, and they simply don't have the knowledge or the resources to do it themselves. And I'm not plugging anybody, but Conversational Design Institute is where our internal conversational designers are trained. It's the leading authority on the subject. And just simply about what is the role of conversational designer, they should definitely define user persona, who is dealing with the bot. They should define tone of voice and the bot's personality, define the use cases they want it to cover, build a script, and analyze and improve. And it's a really important part. So I want to show an example of this. When we created our solution, we asked our internal team, and it was based on devs created the bot, and there is a reason why it's in simulator and not on web. It's a bit okay. You'll see. So the first, when we did it without the expertise, what we got. So if a user contacted the bot, the question was, "Hi, what would you like to improve? Improve business or learn about products?" Of course, improve business. Then you are hit with like a big box about privacy notice. And would you like to improve your business bit messaging? Yes, why not? Who wouldn't? And then straight to lead gen. And if you went the other path and ask, I want to learn about products, you are again hit with the privacy notice. And then what would you like to do with InfoWip? Send messages or engage customers? If you said engage customers, then you are hit with a piece of wisdom that engage customers buy more, spend more, are more loyal, and do want to learn about product. So this is really, I think, it was a poor experience. And then once we saw it, we engaged our own conversational designers to build another bot. And this is it. So we created Omnia. And it's an AI bot, which is present on multiple channels. And when you start interaction, it has a personality. It will say, great to meet you, what's on your mind, and offer you topics that you're able to discuss with her about, and most popular ones. And if you write a full sentence like, tell me about answers, the chatbot will automatically tell you in one sentence what the product is, and offer you a case study to see how one of our other clients used it to achieve and what results did they achieve. And it will ask you, do you want to talk to a professional and discuss it further. And what we have done, we have seen what people are writing. And people were writing all sorts of things. Tell me a joke. Who are the founders? And so on. And we analyzed it and improved. And we were constantly adding new things to satisfy the user. So no intent goes unrecognized. And this is on the second screen, you can see a WhatsApp version, and WhatsApp has its own features. And this is an interesting one to me and useful for a lot of businesses. So if a person asks, what's the nearest office or nearest location or anything, the bot will ask, share me your location, and I'll do the math. And once you share the location, it will send the location which is nearest to you. So, and on the end, the bot says, we have a CSAT functionality. Bot says, hi, I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed chatting with you, like 10 out of 10. Do you like me back? And offers the user to rate the chatbot as well. Some would say it's a bit put like emotional blackmail, but it's a way to reach my KPIs. So it's fair. And what did we achieve? So the results are really impressive comparing old to the new one. And not to go over every number, but we have increased number of leads by 75%. We have increased duration of a session by 92%, and we have increased average session per user by 38%. And what does this tell you? So some businesses have tried to put a bot, but didn't design it well, and they weren't satisfied with the results. And this is like back to back. This is not some large time period. This is in 1 year, simply by improving the experience and creating it according to the best practices. The change in the results can be astronomical. And now, conversational commerce. So it's intersection of messaging apps and shopping. What's happening here? So it was enabled by development of new channels and new capabilities, new functionalities. So we are talking here about big three, and that's Meta, Facebook with WhatsApp, Apple with Apple Messages for Business, and Google with Google Business Messages. And what's happening here, we have new functionalities that enable payment, that enable connections through to CRMs and so on, and it can fulfill the entire customer journey. So now usually before the chatbots were used for one specific, so customer support or lead generation. But now the chatbot can be a destination for everything at once, to learn about the company, to schedule a demo, to purchase with payment inside the app. And this is something that's really happening, and I'm going to show it on a few examples. And this is actually the development. In the 90s, it was brick and mortar world. So you had a personal touch, but you needed people to come to your store, and it was a limited amount of products you could show them. Then came 2000s with the websites. You had unlimited shelf space, let's say, but it was less functional on mobile and had zero personal touch. Then in the 10s came the apps. They were highly functional in the high-end devices, but in low and mid, they weren't so much. And I'm here talking about the Africa region and India, and especially those markets where the cell phone quality is a bit lagging. And it had a really big problem that you needed to download the application, to register, and it really required some effort on the user's part. And in 2020, we are expecting the conversational apps. And that is due to the reason that user already has the application on their phone. Everybody has WhatsApp or Viber, whatever they're using. They know how to use it. And if business is present, it enables them to do the entire journey here. There is no reason for any of the other ones. And 66% of spend is expected to originate from mobile devices by 2025. And this is also the indication we are moving in that direction. So just quickly about those two channels, because I think they're not very known, but they're going to be pretty huge. And Google Business Messages. So what's different about those channels is that they're present on multiple touch points. So if you Google something, you have chat with an agent or chat with a chatbot option. If you are searching for a business on Google Maps, you also have an option to engage with the chatbot. Through ads, you can have a widget on your website. So it's ever present. It has suggested action, so it can guide you and offer you buttons, and a lot of rich features like voice, video, and so on. And coming soon, Google Pay. And once they integrate Google Pay, it'll be they'll enable conversational commerce on that channel as well, and it's going to take off. Another one is Apple Messages for Business. They're basically the same channel, but for Apple users. It's accessible through Apple Maps, through Spotlight, through Safari, and they have all the rich features I discussed about, and they already have Apple Pay, which enables the cases. And now, simply to go over a few cases. So Nissan, they had a challenge. Like everybody, due to COVID, people couldn't come to their stores. And this is Nissan Saudi Arabia. And the only way they had to communicate with their clients were call center, but the problem there was they weren't available 24/7. So they couldn't engage with the customers as they needed them. And they did have a chatbot, but limited in functionality and focused on their website. And what did they do? They wanted to improve customer engagement by adding a WhatsApp chatbot and engaging with the customers 24/7 when they needed them. and how it looked like and what was the journey behind it. So let's say you're interested in some model of their car and you ask patrol price. They would send you a video, they would send you a picture, and they would tell you what's the starting price. Then you could ask about specifics, about specs, about colors. You could compare it with another vehicle. You could select and offer you an option to create a request. Once you downloaded brochure or whatever, you add the request and they ask you, what do you want to do? Do you want to order online? Do you want to get a quote, schedule a demo? So entire journey was done inside the chatbot, and it was really amazing how it felt. And they didn't only focus on new customers, on engaging them, they also wanted to retain a relationship with people who already purchased. So in case you wanted to know where is the nearest service center, they would give you, based on your location, what is the nearest service center. And they're constantly adding new features. Like, for example, they're now adding roadside assistance to the bot and things like that. And what were the results? So directly attributed to the chatbot were 32 cars sold, which enabled them to have 34 return on investment. And this is, I think, an interesting one. 71% increase in unique user generated from the WhatsApp channel. And that's comparing to the chatbot they had on their website. So it's not whether do you have a chatbot as a business, but how do you use it? And they basically had it, but didn't utilize it correctly. And once they changed the channel to the channel their customers were already using and communicated with, and added new and correct use cases, it really skyrocketed the usage. The increase in messages were 600% growth, and they generated 138% in leads. And another interesting case that I like to share is basically just because of its creativity, and it really explains well the versatility of the bot consumption, and that's Dior. Dior, I mean, everybody has probably heard, it's a luxury brand. And what was the challenge? They wanted to elevate marketing engagement. They wanted to create something new, something different, and link with their community. And by doing that, increase loyalty. So what did they do? They linked up with Jisoo, that's a K-pop star, and they created a specific campaign. So what they did, Jisoo created unique content for them. So it was like videos where she was talking about what she likes, she dislikes, her fashion taste, and so on. And Infobip, together with their marketing agency, will build the bot. And the bot was built to be a digital avatar of Jisoo. So it could converse with the people same as she would. It could recognize 4,000 utterances, and it was really cool bot. So it could understand emoticon. If you send her like a poop emoji or eggplant, she would kick you out and you couldn't continue with the conversation. But if you send her a heart, she would reply with a kissing face or things like that. And it was really, really vivid type of communication. And what they did, they promoted the bot on Instagram. They had 10 million users on Instagram, and they said, hey, chat with Jisoo, unique opportunity. People clicked on that, and they started the conversation. They wanted to build like an exclusive, limited experience. So it wasn't like whoever wants to use it. They had a specific number of people, and they reached their capacity in less than 24 hours. And it was important to say it was a 5-day campaign, and each day it was more than 20 messages exchanged between average user and the chatbot. And imagine the value on a brand to be in constant 5-day communication with over 20 messages exchanged. So it was really amazing. And what happened? They had more than 100,000 inquiries about their product, and they engaged 37,000 customers from 137 countries, exchanged 1.5 million messages, and the chatbot recognized more than 100,000 intents. So this is basically it. And what I wanted to accentuate in this is that maybe if you encountered bots before, and it was missing something. It was lacking something. It is because it's fairly possible, but the market is changing rapidly. So in 1 or 2 years, the advancement in new functionality, the use cases it can cover, has grown drastically, and it's definitely going to be ever more present. And I think it's important for all sorts of businesses, from marketing agencies to web agencies, to get in sync with this trend, because once the conversational commerce itself takes up more ground here, and it will, it's a matter of few years, it's excellent to be, let's say, prepared and hit the ground running and start offering the services that are going to be sorely needed. Thank you, this is it for me, and now Magdalena will share about her experiences firsthand.
So hello everyone, my name is Magdalena and I'm from Hrvatski Telekom, and thank you Ante for introducing me. And I will be talking about our example that we encountered with using chatbot in order to deflect a number of assistance and advisory calls for one of our ICT services called fiscal cash register. So the title says it all. This service, particularly for us in ICT, was the one that got most calls on our customer support. And we wanted to deflect number of these calls and transfer them on WhatsApp using a chatbot. So this went in a few phases, but firstly, number one most important thing for us was to detect which were the most asked questions and what did people have a problem with. So as it says that in phase one, we detected frequently asked questions regarding fiscalization. This, in the beginning, for us, these were 4 questions. It was either the receipt is not being fiscalized, there is, for a customer, a problem with adding new products to cash register, they need to change product features, or they want to reactivate the cash register after a suspension. Once we detected these questions, our next phase, this is simplified, but to get to the point, was to create our ICT VIRTUALNI assistant, virtual assistant, chatbot on answers. So Ante mentioned this, and I have to say this from my own experience. It was really easy to make. It was really intuitive, drag and drop, and it took us some time to make it because it was our first time, but later on you will see it was really easy to build some new features into it and to put some new questions into it, and I just have to say we were really happy with how this creation process went. In the third phase of our ICT VIRTUALNI assistant, we did a help desk training of answers and conversations. Answers is Infobip's name for chatbot, and conversations was basically like a cloud call center, but it has more channels, including WhatsApp. And for the final phase for us was implementation of the ICT VIRTUALNI assistant and launch of it in April of 2002. So this is what it looks like. It's on WhatsApp. I took some screenshots just to show some of the most, I would say, for us, interesting things on it, the most helpful things. So firstly, as you can see, we have registered name. It's ICT VIRTUALNI assistant. It's registered, verified. We chose this. And when you're building your own chatbot, you can choose any name you want. I think it just has this personalization, and it gives safety to people who are using it. They know they're talking with the company. So once the person comes to us and says hello or I need help, they get the reply. This is a menu-based chatbot, and they can choose one of the product categories. This product in particular, cash register, has 3 product categories. It's mini, maxi, and premium. And they choose it. They get to what we like a lot on WhatsApp. They get to click it, and then they get frequently asked questions for this product line. As I mentioned earlier, we had 4 frequently asked questions. And later on, as you can see, we have from A to G, we added some new. We got the chance to test this chatbot and to see what other questions maybe people have. There were some changes within this product, and we could just easily add anything new or change anything we wanted. So once you decide to click on whichever you're interested in, what you need help with, we designed this chatbot to be step-by-step problem solving with pictures. So a customer comes, they want to solve their problem, they get instructions written, and they get pictures, and it's like highlighted what they need to click to make this experience as easy for them as possible. And it is step by step. At the end, we get to see maybe when we get analytics where they had the most problems with, on which step did they have stopped or they wanted to talk to an agent. Also, very important, if they have problems, they didn't get to go through this step, they can talk to an agent through WhatsApp. So these are our results. This is a typo. It was 1,300 assistant calls were deflected to chatbot since the launch in April. And our average chatbot session duration was 7 minutes, which we think it's a good time since this is a step-by-step chatbot and it requires people to get their cash registers to do all of this work. And currently we have, 12 help desk agents active on conversations. They are talking with customers when they want to talk to an agent. And currently we have 100% positive customer satisfaction score. As you can see, these are just some of the comments we got. And we're glad to hear all of this. There are more, but they're all similar to this. We know that people are used to talking on the phone. They feel more secure. They think that they will get most help talking to someone. But we're glad that they are learning how to use chatbot, that they see that this is, at the end, for us, faster way to talk to an agent. And we hope this trend will continue. And lastly, these are just some of the incoming chatbot projects in Hrvatski Telekom. This, as I said, this was our first chatbot, and it is menu-based. It is simple chatbot at the end. But other problems that we detected within our company were the problems when people want to see the debt review or get the bill transcript, or they want to get their bills through email. And these are just some of the chatbots we have in store coming. And they will require some kind of verification of our customers. And, you know, people have to enter their name, enter the bill number or something like that. Excuse me. And this will also be available on chatbot. So this is it from me. That's it.
All right. Before we head for lunch, we still have time for some Q&A, even though I think I just saw the microphones off. That's okay. But any questions, comments? It's good to see chatbots in real use. We'll start over here with one of the NetGen friends.
Hi, Igor von Edgen. Just a quick question. At which stage is, let's say, a mixed conversation experience? Today you presented, you know, me being a customer typing something to a chatbot, but also channels like WhatsApp have option to, let's say, speak, you know. What are the, let's say, what is the roadmap both from, you know, your side and in terms of giving more natural experience in terms of chatting and talking to a chatbot?
All right, if you take the microphone right there.
It doesn't. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure I understood you completely, but you asked when will the conversational experience be on the level that it's really natural talking to a bot with a person, right? No.
Yeah, but in terms of, let's say, mixing a type of input, I can, let's say, how I can chat with the chatbot. Either I can type or I can talk to it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
WhatsApp experience, I can talk with any other person.
Yeah, so there are features available already that you can send a voice messages to a chatbot, and it works on speech to text, and then it recognizes intent, and then it responds in text. So that type of input is already supported. You can send voice messages, and there are, as I mentioned, already voice bots out there. So there are bots that in real time will listen to your speech, recognize intent, and then, of course, they will translate speech to text, analyze, figure out intent, figure out response, and then turn that text response into speech, and will be able to talk to you on the phone. So we as InfoWeb don't have it, but there are solutions on the market that already have it. And yeah, so it's not really, we have not seen a lot of voice bots outside of Asia. They are present there. We are expecting them to come to Europe in the future, but still not as popular. But I think we are already on here with the feature set that we can cover that multimedia experience, right?
All right. Any other questions, comments? I think it's really good to see. Chatbots was something that was like 5-10 years ago. Like, is this going to happen? But I think you've shown that it's really making a big difference. So I think that's really good to see. Any other comments, questions, reflections before we go to lunch? I know it's always a little bit tricky to be the speaker like just before lunch. All right, the neighbor here, Vera.
Hi. Just one question. You know, how do you deal with the identity recognition and these integrations? You know, if you want to know about the depth review, do you need to have your mobile number registered, or is it enough? Or do you use some other ways of identification of the user?
So yeah, this is a really interesting question, and it is very popular in the banking industry, telco side with the customer things, and there are ways. So for the first, let's say, first step is if your number, if you are contacted through a WhatsApp, for example, they know your number, and if your number is in their database, this is like the minimum level of security, and it removes some hurdles. The next step is you can use facial scan, and user takes a selfie, and if you already have it in, so this is identity solution, and it's integrated with this, and if they once you register and onboard, you provide images of your driver's license or some sort of ID and take first initial selfie, and it's saved. And it's compared whenever you want to do a sensitive transaction. But some telcos or some banks are using external verification methods that can be integrated with the chatbot. So there are ways to achieve complete and secure transactions and communication with sensitive information.
All right. Do you want to add something? All right, anybody else? I think we should be the smart ones and get to lunch 1 minute before the room next to us. But before we do that, like I think we've done already a few times today, if you like to talk, please get up and let's give them a standing ovation.